Today I'm going to try to repair this set of clippers. It's a Wahl Magic Clip cordless. I've got it plugged in and get no power to it. I actually bought a brand new power cord for it, and I know this works, but there seems to be something wrong with the inside here. I believe it's a circuit board. So I bought a new circuit board for it, and I'll leave a link in the video so you guys can purchase one if you need it. So this comes apart pretty easy. You got two screws here, and there's a screw underneath this cover. This cover is kind of a pain to take off, and I don't want to scratch it with a screwdriver, so I'm just going to use my fingernails and try to get this to, basically what I want it to do is pop forward. Oh, there we go. So that comes off, and you've got your third screw right there. Let's get these screws out. These are Phillips screws. Small silver one goes in the top, two black long ones go in the bottom. This also pops off, and if you haven't ever popped the cover off before, it can be kind of a pain. I've done this one a couple times, so it should be fairly easy. Yeah, just pop it off. It's basically just a few plastic clips in there. So this is what we're working with. We've got a circuit board here, and the battery. This is the motor, and here's the switch. So we're gonna get this guy pulled out of here. We're gonna take this battery off like that, and then we've got a couple wires coming off here. Two to the motor. We've got a couple to the switch, and that's about it. Now with this, we're going to need to solder on the two connections to the motor, so we're going to have to pull that motor out of there also. These two here at the switch, they screw in, so those are going to be easy. So we're going to go ahead and pull these three screws out of the motor, get that out of there, and I believe this switch just comes out. We'll figure that out in a minute. We'll keep these in order. They're probably all the same, but you never know. Sometimes there's a long one and a short one, and they need to be in their correct places. So just in case, we'll keep them in order. So that was the bottom, this was the upper left, and this will be the upper right. All right, let's try to get this guy out of here. It should be just that. Okay, so this is just a cover, and we lost the magnet that goes on top, so I'll have to grab that. Here's the magnet, and that has a certain place it goes in here. Anyway, we'll make sure we get that put back in its little groove there when we put it back together. Comes out, there's the motor. So we're gonna have to solder these 2 points on here. And then this guy, I believe, I thought it just pulled out, but these screws that hold the wires on most likely are holding the switch in. So we'll take those out. remember the top, the green one goes on the top, which is the long one, so that kind of makes sense. All right, so we'll set this to the side. Now, before I get into soldering anything together, I want to make sure that I have the correct part. The first one I got from Amazon, and it said it matched these clippers, but it did not. It didn't have the same amount of wires coming off, and the plug here was a lot smaller, and it didn't have that that configuration right there. It was specific to these clippers. I don't know if other clippers have this exact configuration, but I know this one does, so we'll make sure. Here's the plug for the clippers, and we will make sure that it plugs in before I try to put everything back together. So it looks like it's gonna go, nope, had it wrong. There we go. All right, so that's a fit. So we're good with that. And we've got 1, 2, 3 wires coming off. 1, 2, 3 wires coming off here, and then 2 for the motor, 2 for the switch, 2 for the motor, 2 for the switch. So this is the correct part, and it also looks the same as far as where the capacitors and other components are on the circuit board. So I got this solder iron off of Amazon. It was $11, but it had thousands of reviews and 4.5 stars. So I figured that I would give it a shot. $11 for a solder iron with solder seems a little cheap to me, but if it works, works for me. This solder iron has a digital display, and it's got an on-off switch, and it's adjustable. I believe they said from 60 to 80 watts. A lot of the solder irons I saw were just 60 watt. It also comes with multiple tips. So for $11, if this does the job today, that's what I need. All right, so I've got it plugged in. Looks like it's counting up its degrees. I'm not sure how hot it gets or how to adjust the wattage on it, but I imagine I can adjust the temperature with the plus and minus. And I haven't really done any real soldering. I fooled around with a solder iron before, but I'm no professional. So I'm not sure how hot this is supposed to get, but I'm just going to bump it up just for fun. Let's take it to 380. All right, we'll see if that works. We're going to try to get these wires off of these terminals here. We'll remember with the motor in this position, we've got the black one on the right. Come on. There we go, the black one's out. Come on. And the red one's out. There's an old piece, we'll set that off to the side. Something else that I noticed on here when I was taking the connectors off, this has a red color right here. That was where the red wire was. All right, that one's in. Probably do the same here for the black one. See what we can do with that. Come on. All right, that one's in. Well, it's in, but it's not soldered. This side over here has less solder on it, so I just have a hole. I'll add some solder to that. Come on. All right. There we have it. And this one's not going anywhere. It's got plenty of solder on it. So this part of the project is done. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put the motor back in. Okay, we'll get this guy back on there. Upside down. And these 3 screws. All right, and our magnet sits right in that slot. It is magnetic, so it's can be kind of a pain to get where you want it. Let's see what I can find here. I can push that. There it goes. All right, so I want to get these wires out of the way. I should have taken a picture beforehand. I probably did, but I think they just go off to the side. This we'll do the blue one first, the short one, and it's going to screw into the bottom here. And get it on its little connector there. just make sure that the end of it here goes in its slot. All right, that's good. And for this one, there's a slot up top here. And so the goal is going to be to get that to screw in there with the wire going through that slot. Okay, that looks good. Now we just need to connect the battery. Come on now. That works. There we go, battery's connected. Up is the off position. This was in the down position, so maybe a good thing to think about when you're connecting it up, like I didn't do. Just make sure it's in the off position. Let's see, this is going to go probably, let me think here. Okay, so this guy is gonna go, I don't know if you can see that, this post, or this hole right here, is going to go on that little post back in there. And the front, I believe, slides into a groove, but there we go. All right. Not a super big fan of how this whole thing is set up, but it'll definitely do the job. All right, we'll give this a shot. Something is just not quite right. It feels like it's up here in the top end. Bottom looks good. All the way up here is good. Oh, I know what's the problem. You gotta hook these two front little hooks have to slide in, so we'll do that first. There we go. That's how it goes. We'll get our screws back in. All right. Okay, now we're going to plug it in and make sure that that works. All right, so I've got my plug. The triangle part goes towards the bottom. And now we have power when we have it plugged in. It was not doing that before. All right, so looks like we're back in action with these things. This solder iron worked great. Doesn't look like the highest quality, but it was $11. Definitely did the job, and I expect it'll do whatever I need it to. I could probably use some more experience soldering, but definitely did the job, and I feel those solder connections are going to work great. So that concludes our repair of the Wahl Magic cordless clippers. And I will leave links to the parts that I got for this. I got a power cord that I didn't use in this video. That was my first thought of why this thing wasn't working, so I'll leave a link to that and a link to the website where I got the circuit board that worked for in here, and I'll also leave a link for the soldering iron if you guys are interested. Thanks for watching.